Hi, my name is Robert Ridley, and welcome to my presentation on the legal aspects of teacher evaluation for EDL 851. Summary of the articles that I looked over and some changes going on in the teacher evaluation systems. There was some that argued that revamping the teacher evaluations would actually help give teachers some better information in regards to some strengths and weaknesses that would help them improve their instruction. It would also, some more data could also help school districts tailor ongoing support systems. Some initiatives that kind of came out of some changes that happened. Race to the Top came about. Basically, it was offering grants to states that agreed to make policy changes within a teacher, their teacher evaluation system. They also wanted it to take into account student achievement. Some other things that were in Race to the Top were like how many times a teacher should be evaluated within a school year. Different things like that. Also, there was some major outside influence, outside of the education realm influence. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation spent some $700 million on teacher quality initiatives. There was also the Every Student Succeeds Act. This act actually ended federal involvement in prescribing and influencing teacher evaluation systems. It also requires states to develop their own goals and to look at a broad range of factors to gauge student performance. Basically, not just looking at test scores, taking other things into consideration, such as observations, teacher data, lesson plans, and things of that sort, and actually looking at all of that data instead of just basing it on scores or a rubric or a checklist or things like that. It also allows every state to kind of write their own or set their own goals for teacher evaluations and things like that. They just must submit it into the State Department of Education so that they know what is going on and what we're using in our state or districts for evaluations. My district's teacher evaluation process, formal evaluations take place twice a year, once in the fall and once in the spring semester. There's also several informal observations that go on throughout the course of the school year that usually, sometimes they can range from 15 to 20 minutes. Formal evaluations usually last around 60 minutes. They could last all the way up to the full 90-minute period since we run a true block schedule. But most of the time they range around the 60-minute mark. The principal usually will send out an email with a time frame of when you can expect the formal observation to take place. In that email, it also might go ahead and set up a post-conference date. If not, the teacher or the principal will usually be in contact shortly after your observation or your evaluation to set up that post-conference date. During the post-conference, it'll usually take place a few days after your evaluation as well. You'll have the opportunity to discuss the evaluation, and the principal usually will provide valuable feedback that can help improve instruction or give you a plan to help you improve in areas that you might be weak in. Some resources for my teachers or for teachers in our district. If a teacher feels that their evaluation is inaccurate, the teacher can discuss those concerns regarding the evaluation with the principals or with the principal. They can ask to have a team of administrators in. They can also write a rebuttal explaining their concerns with the inaccuracies that they saw in their evaluation, and that explanation will then be attached to their formal evaluation form. And if that's not satisfactory, then the teacher can also contact the school office in order to express their concerns. If a teacher feels that they are being unjustly let go, the teacher probably will need to contact a lawyer and go through our school office to file a complaint that way with the superintendent and go through the process through the school office. A legal case that I looked at was a case in New York. Urbanski versus King. The foundation of the case, the Rochester Teachers Association alleges that the state fails to fully account for poverty in the test score based formula used for evaluation, which would penalize some teachers. The case also looks at the scoring for local student growth measures and contends that state imposed regulations, they impose those regulations without public comment. The ruling is still pending, so the status of the case is in progress, and a decision on the state's motion to dismiss is pending. My reflection on some different things of when I become a school administrator or a principal. Definitely know school law and your district's policies inside out. That way, if you ever were to get questioned or someone asks for some advice or where they can find certain things, you'd be able to know that offhand and be able to give a thorough explanation. Also, just being an active listener. Sometimes that's one of the best qualities that I believe an administrator can possess, is just to listen and let people know that you're invested in them and that you care about them. Just be genuine. Just be a person of high integrity, and I think the rest kind of takes care of itself. But you got to be flexible. I found out with being the dean of students, and even when I was the athletic director for 2 years, that you have to be flexible. That schedule is always changing. You may come in and that schedule you think it's set for the day, but it hardly ever goes that way. You must be flexible and be able to adapt on the fly and go with it. Also, build those positive professional rapport. I think that goes back to being a good listener and just being genuine and being a person of high integrity and just following through with what you say. And I believe that helps build that positive rapport. And then in return, I believe that you get much more support, much more buy-in from everyone, not just teachers, but everyone within your community. They know that you care about them, that you're invested in them, that you're invested in the kids and their success, and in return, that puts a lot of trust in your court. So, just be genuine and be an active listener, and I think a lot of that with the professional rapport and things and getting the support from everyone kind of falls into place. Being prepared and organized, that takes a huge, a lot of time and a huge commitment, but just being prepared and organized is a huge asset to being an effective school leader. Also, just establishing those open lines of communication with all your stakeholders. That way, everybody shares the same vision. Everybody's on the same page, speaking the same language, and that consistency is huge for the kids and for the teachers, for everybody, the parents, everybody involved. If everybody's on the same page, I think it tends to run a lot smoother. And then this is some of the resources that I used. I hope you find the information helpful, and I look forward to working with you guys the rest of the semester. Thank you.